This is way number 12 to pass the chemistry regents, and it involves problems with vapor pressure. For problems with vapor pressure, you need to use table H. Vapor pressure, if you don't already know, is the amount of pressure that a vapor exerts on the atmosphere as the liquid is evaporating, goes from liquid to gas. So let's try some problems. Based on table H, what is the vapor pressure of ethanoic acid at 90 degrees Celsius? So you're going to need to use table H for this. For problems like this, you need to locate the curve that corresponds to that substance and then locate 90 degrees and find out what the corresponding vapor pressure is. So if you find 90 degrees corresponds to approximately 40 kilopascals of vapor pressure. So the answer choice is 1. Let's try another problem. Determine the vapor pressure of ethanol at 90 degrees Celsius. Okay, if you locate ethanol, the ethanol curve, and find 90 degrees Celsius on the x-axis, that roughly corresponds to about 150, 151 kilopascals. Generally, the Regents allows you plus or minus 2 points from the answer, so as long as you're within that value, you should be fine. Let's try this next problem. Base your answer to the question on the information below and on your knowledge of chemistry. Ethane, C2H6, has a boiling point of negative 89 degrees Celsius at standard pressure. Ethanol, C2H5OH, has a much higher boiling point than ethane at standard pressure. At STP, ethane is a gas and ethanol is a liquid. Tells you a liquid boils when the vapor pressure of the liquid equals the atmospheric pressure on the surface of the liquid. Based on table H, what is the boiling point of ethanol at standard pressure? So for problems like this, you need to figure out at what point does ethanol boil at standard pressure. And it tells you that this occurs when its vapor pressure is equal to the atmospheric pressure. So if the atmospheric pressure is at standard pressure, you should be locating standard pressure on the y-axis and then finding the corresponding ethanol curve. Look at the graph and see if you can find it. Okay, if you go to the standard temperature and pressure dashed line, it tells you what the corresponding temperature for ethanol is. At 101.3, which is STP, it corresponds to about 80 degrees Celsius. So the point at which ethanol boils is 80 degrees because that's the point at which its vapor pressure is equal to the atmospheric pressure. So basically the liquid is pushing at the same force that the atmosphere is, and as a result will start to boil and turn into a gas. Let's try another problem. At which temperature is the vapor pressure of ethanol equal to 80 kilopascals? Okay, for this problem, you need to locate 80 kilopascals on the y-axis, find the curve for ethanol, and then you see that roughly corresponds to 73 degrees Celsius on the x-axis. So the answer choice is 2. Let's try another problem. Which compound has the lowest vapor pressure at 50 degrees Celsius? If you locate 50 degrees Celsius on the x-axis and find the corresponding vapor pressure for each of these curves, you can see that the lowest vapor pressure exerted at 50 degrees Celsius is from ethanoic acid, which basically means at 50 degrees Celsius, its vapor is providing the least force against the atmosphere. So the answer has to be 1. Let's look at this problem. At which temperature is the vapor pressure of ethanol equal to the vapor pressure of propanone at 35 degrees Celsius? So for this problem, it actually gives you two bits of information: the vapor pressure of propanone at 35 degrees, and then it's asking you what temperature is the vapor pressure of ethanol at that point. Okay, for this problem, first locate the vapor pressure of propanone at 35 degrees. At 35 degrees on the x-axis, that corresponds to a vapor pressure of about 48 kilopascals. And it's asking you at what temperature is the vapor pressure of ethanol equal to at that point. So you have to extend this line to the ethanol curve and find out what temperature is ethanol's vapor pressure at 48 kilopascals. And you see that it corresponds to 60 degrees Celsius. So the answer choice is 2. Okay, look at this problem. Base your answer to the question on the information below and on your knowledge of chemistry. Rubbing alcohol is a product available at most pharmacies and supermarkets. One rubbing alcohol solution contains 2 propanol and water. The boiling point of 2-propanol is 82.3 degrees Celsius at standard pressure. Determine the vapor pressure of water at a temperature equal to the boiling point of 2-propanol. So we're going to need to use information from the text in order to answer this problem. Look at the graph, look at table H, and see if you can figure it out. Okay, for this problem, we see it wants to determine the vapor pressure at that temperature. The temperature at which 2-propanol boils is given in the text at 82.3 degrees Celsius. So if we locate that point, 82.3 degrees Celsius is right here, and it wants to know the vapor pressure of water. So we look at the water curve and find that the corresponding vapor pressure is about 50 kilopascals. So for problems like this, it's real important that you know how to use table H and how to look up vapor pressures at corresponding temperatures, and know that this dashed line always corresponds to standard pressure, 101.3 kilopascals. Hopefully this helps. Thank you.